Hi guys, welcome to Online Academy, and today I want to take you through STATA. So STATA is known for its statistical analysis, powerful statistical analysis. So when you open STATA, you're going to see 5 windows. This is the main window, which is the results window, and this is the command window. Written command here is a command window. It's a window whereby you enter your commands. If you are doing your analysis, you can enter your commands here. And this is on the top right corner. This is the variables window. It's a window that shows the list of variables that are present in your data, and also labels. And on the bottom right corner, this is the properties window. It further explains the variables that are in your data, that is the name, the label, nodes. And to my left, there's the review window. The review window shows the list of commands or the progress of your analysis. If there are any errors, they pop up here with in red, so you get to know it as we go. And this is the main menu of the STATA. So this is the file. The file contains the open option whereby you can call your data set, and also there's an import whereby you can call or import datasets from Excel, from SPSS, from CS Pro and other statistical softwares, and you can export as well. And there's graphics. This is whereby you go for different graphs, as the name says. And statistics, this contains options for statistical analysis. All right, so, and also this one is the data editor. This is the data editor. This shows it's just a spreadsheet of the data that we have, so it's empty because we don't have any data yet. Right, so let's get into it. So let's learn how to input data first. So to input data, like I've said, you can use this option of calling from other data files, that is from Excel, from SPSS, from CS Pro, or else you can go to this data editor and you can start to enter. Let's say want to input data, so we can say variable 1, let's talk of age 25. Another case is 35, then you enter 45 and enter. Then another variable, let's name it Farai, John, Peter. So these are names of people. That's another variable. Right, so this is another way of inputting data on your STATA, but this is very slow. It's very useful if you have a small data set. So that's it. And as you can see now on our variables window, we are now being told of the variables that are present, and we can name these variables here on the variable. On the properties window, you can rename. You can say variable 1, I'll call it age, right? Then the variable 2, I can call it name, and also I can give a label here, that's name of students, right? And I can also do the same here, that's age of students. But whatever I'm doing here is going to be shown on my results window. We are going to see that in just a moment. And age of students, right? So let's go to our results window and see what's happening. So as you can see now, everything that we have been doing on the data set is now shown over here, and this is our variable window, contains the labels and the variables that are present. Right, so this is the first method of entering data. So I want to show you another method. I'm going to clear. Just clear is removing the data set that we have entered. So I'm going to clear. Right, so I can start again. So The second method is using this command window. I'm going to say input age, that's my variable 1, and I'm going to put in, say, another one, its name. But you are going to see one thing. Let me show you. I'm saying age is 25, and I'm saying name is Farai, or let me say John. You're going to see an error, right? There's an error. John cannot be read as a number. Why? STATA by default, it takes the variables to be in the integers, so you need to specify that this is not an integer. So what you do is you go back to the variable, so you don't have to rewrite everything. You just have to go to your review. If you made an error, you go to your review window and look for the command that is an error, right? So in our case, the command that is an error is the input. We need to specify that this name is not an integer, it's a string. So what we are going to do is I'll start by clearing, or I'll just say an end. That's we are saying we are putting an end to whatever we have been doing. So I end. So I'm going to start. I'll just pick the command that is an error, this one, and I'm going to specify now the str, that's how many letters we need. Let me just say 10 letters, right? So I've specified that this name variable is going to contain cases with letters of 10. I can specify it depending on what I have in my variable. I can talk of 20 if I have long names, but usually 10, that's the one that I'm going to use. Now let's try again, and I'm going to take this other variable or this other command. Okay, let me just write 25, then John. Let's see. Right, so as you can see now, the variable has been entered correctly, and I can add 35, same. So each time you are going to add a new variable that has a name on it, you should specify that this is not an integer. These are not numbers, they are letters. So you specify by use of str, right? So I'm going to say this one is Peter, right? Okay, so this is another way of entering data. So I'm just going to say end. I don't want to keep adding other variables. I want to work with these three. So I have end, put an end. So now I want to label this variable. So I want to use the command. These variables, I want to label them. So I'm going to say I'm using the command. So I'm going to say label. STATA allows you to use at least 3 letters if the command is label, right? But I can say lab and still the results will come out. So I'm going to say label age variable, sorry, it's variable, but variable age. And what is the label? I'm going to say age of student. This is the label that will be for this variable, right? So as you can see now, we have age of student. If I want to label name, I'll just say lab. Let me just write it label, then variable name. So also you need to take note that STATA is case sensitive. So if you use if you name your variable, or if you inputted your variable as small letters and you want to use capital letters like this, and you see what is going to happen. I'm going to say this is name of students. So there's going to be an error because I'm using, like I said, STATA is case sensitive, so I should use the same format that I used in inputting my variable. So to correct it, you just pick it, the error on the review window, and I'm going to call it name. All right. So it's now working. So this is another way of entering data and labeling your data in Stata. So the other way is going to import, and you call it whether your data is in Excel or is in free fixed format or free format. So you'll be just selecting your data from where it is, right? Okay, and the other way I have to clear this to remove this. The other way is to go to File, then Open, and Stata will take you to a place where there is a data. So now this is data that is in Stata format, so I can call for this data, right, and input my data. Okay, so I can call it and input it, right. So now this is the data that I've entered before. So as you can see, this is the data that I've called for, and I want to work on this. I want to show you how to analyze this data using Stata. So now the problem is, if you go here, file, and you save what you are saving. Yes, if you go here, then you try to save, what you'll be saving is data. You are not saving your results. These results, that this analysis that we have been doing, you are only saving the data. This is the data that we are talking about. If I am going to make a change here, 91, right, I've changed something here, and if I say file, save, I'm just saving my data. So by so doing, I'm going to, if I have been doing analysis for more than 2 hours and I just only save data but I don't have results, that will be a waste of time. So we are going to learn now how to save the commands as we go. So how to save the commands: we go to File, then you go to Log and Begin Log. That's another way. If you want to do it using a command, you are going to say log. But first of all, Stata uses folders. It's not installed in a machine. You are given a folder by someone, or you have to download it and you put it in your machine and you save it a folder. So that folder is the one that contains the other tools of Stata. So you don't want to populate this folder by, because the moment we save, our savings are going to that folder. So we need to put them on a separate folder or on a separate directory. We need to change the directory so that when we work, when we are doing our workings, we don't have to populate that the first folder that contains tools of Stata. So we are going to say change directory. We need to change our directory. So you just say cd, then you specify the address of your directory. So how to do that? We are going to the folder that you want to use. So I'm going to use this folder. This is where I'm going to save my work, or maybe I should create a new folder. Okay, no problem. Let me create a new folder. Right, and this folder I'm going to say analysis. Right, so in this folder, that's where I'm going to do all my analysis, and all my savings, they should be found in this folder. So to copy, I need to copy the address of this folder, so that I'll use it in my working in Stata. So I'm copying, so you just select copy, you select the address, then you copy, right, then you go to Stata. Right, so I'm going to paste that address here. So this is my working directory now. Right, so everything that I'm doing is going to be saved in my analysis folder. So now we need to log our work. So when we are logging our work, that means we are recording all the things that we are doing, all the results. They are going to be recorded in a certain folder, and that folder is stored, or that file is stored. If you want to open it, we can open it later and see the results of what we have been doing. Right, so it's wiser to log always than just save, because the moment you save, you are only saving data and you're not saving the results. So you log using, that's the command, using. So now because we have already created a folder where our analysis are going, so you don't need now to specify the address, because STATA already knows where to store your information. So I'm going to name this this file household, right, and so I'm going to name it household. So for the purpose of this file that we are saving, these results that we are saving, we also want them to be open in Microsoft Word or in Notepad. So we need to specify text. So when I say text, I'm putting it in a format whereby it can be opened by other word processors like Word, Microsoft Word, and Notepad. But if I don't specify, it's going to remain in an SMCL file format that can only be opened in STATA. But I don't want that. I want also to open this file in other word processors. So I will say text. That's specifying the format text. Then append. Append, it means if there is if there was a file in my folder that has the same name as household, I'm just going to add on that file. That's append. But if I say replace, that means if there was a file that is named household in my folder, I'm going to replace it. So as you have seen that there is nothing in the folder, so I'll just leave it as text to avoid errors. So now the log using, that's my command, and this is my address, and this is my type, and it shows the time that I've opened the log. So if we go here to our file, we should start seeing the folder. Right, the file is already here now, but it has nothing yet. So we have opened, we are now, so everything that we are doing is going to be saved on this file. All right, so let's go back. So now let's start our analysis. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to label my data, the data that I have created, or that I have inputted, or that I have opened. In this case, I just opened it and it was saved in my machine. I didn't input it, or I didn't import it from Excel. So I'm just going to, I want to give a label to this data. Okay, this is the data that I want to label. So how to do it? You just say label data, then you give the label. So it's called data, household data. Let me just say household data. Right, so that's my label. And now as you can see, we have a label that's household data. Right, I also want to write some notes. So some notes, you say notes, then you say household data collected in 2020. Right, then I'll put an enter. So I have this information over here on my properties window. Right, the next thing that I want to do is I want to label all the variables that are there. So let's learn how to label these variables. So the first thing that you do the first way to do it is you say label variable. We want to label town, variable town, then I'll call it town and towns in Zimbabwe. Okay, let me say, yeah, town in Zimbabwe. Right, so that's my label. Right, so as you can see, we already have the label. Then I'm going to say label. I can say just lab, it's fine. Lab variable. Which variable do I want to label? It's marital. Then I put the label here. I'm just going to say marital status. So this helps for one to understand what is just giving more information about the variable, right? And also another method, you go to your data here and you are going to select the variable that you want to label. I want to label opinion, so I'll just put opinion on the issue. Let me say opinion on marriage. Right, so I'm just giving a little bit information for anyone who will be using the data maybe in 4 years to come, would understand now what the data is about. And also, so the process goes on and on for other variables. Right, so what we have done, we have added an opinion label. So if we go here, you're going to see the same that we have done to the data on the data editor, and it's shown on the results window. So all this that we are doing is being saved, right? So also we need to proceed. Now we need to create frequency tables. So let's learn how to create frequency tables. So I'm going to say the formula or the command for frequency tables is just tab, or you can say tabulate, or you can say tab. So what frequency table do I want to create? I want to create for sex. It's basically useful for categorical data. That's for categorical variables. So it already shows me how many females I have, how many males, and the percentage. And I can say tabulate town. Right, I can say tabulate what other categorical do I have? Tabulate marital. Right, so it shows the options that are there for marital status. Right, so I think we are done with frequency table. So now what we need to do is we need to create bar charts for all categorical variables. So we need to create bar charts. So to create bar chart, we have a command, that's graph bar. So it depends with the graph that you want. You can create a horizontal bar chart or a vertical bar chart. So on this, let me start with the vertical one. So, and we need it to be with percentages. So that's the command over sex. Right, so the graph will come out. Right, so this is the graph that we have created. And also if you want a horizontal bar, we are going to say graph h bar, that's for horizontal. And let's use another categorical variable over town. Right, Right, so this is another graph that we have created, and also we can create another one for opinion graph. That's bar over opinion right. So the graph will come out. Now I think we are done on these simple graphs. Let's proceed. So now we want to create a stacked bar for source of income. Let's create a stacked bar. So to create a stacked bar, we are going to use the command. But before that, if you want to create using the graphical user interface, you can go to graphics. If you want to plot a graph using the graphical user interface, this is very simple. Then you have to select your variable that you want to use. Yeah, we're preparing for what else? Okay, so you'll be selecting a variable that you want to use, then you click OK, so the graph will come out. Right, so this is for graphical user interface, but mainly I'm using commands. So if you want to create a stacked graph, stacked bar, what you have to do is you just use this command. I'm going to say graph. The graphs, they are not very difficult, they are very easy. So the graph bar, and I'm going to label the sources of income. We have salary, I have rentals, I have petty trade, I have other. So the stacked graph that I'm preparing, I want it to be income by town. So I'm going to say over. You want to see which income has been performing very well in different towns. So town, right. Oh, I left something. Town. Then this is a stacked. We are creating a stacked bar, right? So a stacked graph. We are going to say stack percent because it's a stacked bar, right? Okay, right, now we are done with the preparation for this graph. So you have to remember the command. Okay, so now let's proceed. We want now to plot scatter plots. So scatter plot, our scatter plot that we want to plot is for age and salary. So I'm going to say graph. This is a scatter plot graph, two-way. So I'm going to show you three scenarios. Scatter, then we start with your y variable. So we have age and salary, so obviously salary is the y variable, salary, and I have age. Right, we need a scatter plot. This is a simple scatter plot, just a basic one. That's a basic one, but we can also add a line of best fit. So I'll just go to my review window and take this command, and I'll add something here. I'm going to say line of fit, that's LFIT. Then I'll name my variable salary, then age. Right, so we are going to add this line of best fit. Now we have the line in red. We also want to add something. We want to add the confidence levels. So I'm going to say I want to add, that's a 95 confidence bands. So let me add this. So I'm going to say line fit CI, that's for confidence interval, and I will not specify because it's for 95. So by default I'll be given the 95 confidence interval, right? So I'll just push enter. Right, so now I think we are done. We have this beautiful graph, as you can see now. So we need to proceed. Let's proceed on the Pearson product moment correlation. Pearson product moment correlation coefficient for age and salary. So for Pearson, we are going to enter this command. That's PWCORR. That's the command. Then we specify the variables that are being used. We have age, and I have salary. We want to see if these age and salary have a relationship. So we can see that. Now we have seen that age and salary, they have a correlation coefficient of 0.8663. So as a statistician, or as someone who is interested in statistics, we have to know that, we have to understand that the correlation coefficient ranges from -1 to 1, and -1 being the negative perfect negative relationship, and 1 being the positive perfect relationship, perfect positive relationship. All right, so this one is a good positive relationship. So but we also want to test the significance of this coefficient. So how we do it, we are going to enter this command PWCORR, and we specify our variables age, then salary, and we add something. Now we are adding this significance. Okay, so now as you can see, we have a significant, or a p-value of 0.003, and since this value is less than 0.05, that means the relationship between age and salary, the coefficient, the correlation coefficient is significant, is statistically significant, and we have proved this by this statistic. So I think we are done for this, and also we can want to continue with our analysis for the data. So everything that we are doing here is being recorded on our log. We have opened the log file. Okay, so let's continue. We also want to determine the measures of central attendance for household heads that are aged between 40 and 60. So the question is saying determine the measures of central attendance for households whose household heads are aged between 40 and 60. Right, so what we need to do is, first of all, we need to create a variable that contains household heads with the age of 40 to 60. Right, so that is simple. We are going to say generate. We need to generate this variable, generate 40. So what do we want to generate? We want to call the variable, we want to call it age. I'll just code age 40 to 60. That's the variable. That's the name of the variable that I'm using. So how are we generating this? So we are generating this with this command. We are saying we need people that have age between 40 and 60. So we are saying age is is greater than or equal to 40, and it's less than, and age is less than or equal to 60. So if we if we hit this command, we hit enter, we are going to get a variable called age 42 skist. Right, so as you can see already on our variables window, it's being shown here. So we need to label this this variable. So I'm going to say label variable label variable age 42 skist, variable 42 skist. And what is the label that we want to use? Let me say people. Okay, yeah, people aged between 40 and skist. Right, that's my lab variable. So I'm going to check this variable to on my data editor. I'll go to my data editor and see if it was actually added. Right, so this is the variable that we have added, and so it's just picking if there was if the person, or a case that if the person has the age between 40 to skist, they'll pick and put a 1. So as you can see, this guy is 25 years and there's a 0, and this one is 45, there's a 1, this one is a 1, is 51, is 41. So that's how it does. So we want to see want to find the measures of central tendency. That's the mean, the median, the mode. So we want to put those commands. So to get the mean of this variable, I'm going to say mean 40 to skist. Right, okay, it's age 40 to skist, that's the name of the variable. Right, so I get the mean and I get the standard error and I get the confidence interval for this variable. That's nice. And also to get the median, I'm going to say my median is going to be sum age 40 to 50, then I'll say D for detail. So that's the command. And sum age to it's 40 to skist, 40 to skist. Right, so that's my median, and it just came out. So it came out. So so I think with this one we are done, and now let's learn how to come up with box and whisker plot. So the command is very simple. It's just say graph. So we want this box and whisker for other, that's for other income, this variable. So I'm going to say graph box, and I'll say other. Right, so we're going to see our box and whisker. Right, this is nice. Right, so we proceed. So now let's learn how to record age. We want to record and we want to use age. So we are recording age into different variables with categories 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, 51 to 60, 61 to 70, 71 to 80. And we do some other statistics after that. So let's record. That's the command for recording. Record, what do you want to record? You want to record age. How do we want to record it? We are going to say from 21 to 30. We are labeling this as 1. And also you can also add your label if you want. You can write something, but I don't want to do that. So I will just want to label it 1. And also 130 to 40. And this is going to be 2. Then this is 40 to 50. This is going to be 3. Then my 50 to 60, this is going to be 4. then my 60 to 70, this is going to be 5, and my 70 to 80, this is going to be 6. So I have 6 age groups, and after recording I want to create another variable. Otherwise, if I leave it like this, I'm going to override my age, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to say generate another variable. So generate, and the new variable, I'm going to label it age 10. That's for 10-year gaps, right? So I think if we go to our variables window, we're going to see our age 10. That's the record of age. And also, if we go to our browse, we're going to see age 10. That's the record for what we have been doing. So this is just a category. We are giving a categories. We are saying those guys that are between 21 to 28, and we'll give them a category of 1. So this 21 to 30. So this guy is in 28. He falls under 1, and the other categories is they follow. So I think we are done. Let's just do another calculation. So we want to compute body mass index, that's BMI. Let's say generate BMI, that's a variable. So BMI is calculated as weight over height squared. So I'm going to say generate. How do I want to generate it? I'm going to say weight divided by height squared. So that's SQRT for square. Height, I'm squaring height, that's height, right? So I should get another variable that is called BMI. Okay, right, so I have the variable, it's over here, that's BMI. And if I go to my data editor, I'm going to see this this calculation has been done, and this is my BMI. So I think we have done a lot of analysis so far, and also something we are missing. Okay, I think we missed something. We should have done some linear regression. So linear regression, I'm going to say I want to regress between age and salary. So I'm going to say regress my y variable is the one that starts salary, then age, right? Okay, so STATA has done the whole calculation, and as you can see now, we have the sum of squares, we have degrees of freedom, mean square error, and we have the variable, the coefficients, and also we have the f-test has been done, the r-squared. So it basically does everything, and we have our equation. We can also write our equation. Salary is equal to, and we take our age here, the coefficient of age, that's our independent, sorry, that's 2.518 age. So then plus our constant, so this is our regression equation, that's 1877, right? So every time age is changing, we get a new salary. So that's it. I think we have done almost everything for STATA. We'll continue to learn more about STATA. So for now, I think this is okay. So once you are done with this, don't forget to close your log so that you keep your analysis that you have been doing, so that when you want to cross-check or when you want to add something, you can always come back to this file. Okay, so to close it, we are going to say log close. We are closing everything. We are closing our log, right? So we have closed this log, and this has been saved on our file, which we labeled household, right? So I'm going to say file, and also if I save, like I've said, I'm saving my data that I've created. So saving and logging is saving my analysis, and saving is saving my, I'm saving my data that is in the data editor. Okay, so I think we're done. Thank you so much for showing up and for learning this tutorial. Thank you so much. Please don't forget